Fall is in full swing, and it's the perfect time to refresh your wardrobe with pieces that feel as good as they look. Luckily, Quince makes it easy to look polished, stay warm, and save big without compromising on quality. To know me is to know I love a cashmere sweater. Let me tell you, the one thing that you need for the fall is a oatmeal cashmere sweater, and nowhere better than Quince because you're going to save so much money. Think 100% Mongolian cashmere from $50. Then add to that washable silk tops and skirts and perfectly tailored denim, and all at prices that feel too good to be true. I got to tell you, I think I'm going to get a wool coat. They look designer level, but it cost a fraction of the price. The greatest thing about Quince is they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories, so they cut out the middleman. And by doing so, they can deliver luxury, quality pieces at half of the price of similar brands. It's the kind of wardrobe upgrade that feels smart, stylish, and effortless. So, this is what I want you to do. Keep it classic and cozy this fall with long-lasting staples from Quince. Go to quince.com/Kate Casey for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Kate Casey to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Kate Casey.
At Maurice's, we're all about great jeans. You know, the ones that fit you just right. The ones that go from work days to weekends and everywhere in between. The ones that simply make you feel good. Because you don't just wear jeans, you live in them. With 25 sizes, 5 lengths, and 6 denim brands, you've got options. And fit experts in every store to make jean shopping easier. Find great jeans starting at $29.90 in stores and at Maurice's.com.
Hi, welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey. Hope that you have had a great week so far, and I have a great episode for you today. But first, I got to ask you, did you watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City this week? We're 2 episodes into the season. I wasn't totally thrilled with the premiere episode last week because it began with a girls' trip. And I feel like you've got to build into that. I want to see people back at home with their kids, with their spouses, at small lunches, and get a sense of how they're feeling on the heels of the previous reunion. Because remember, they film a reunion and they've got a little bit of time, and then they go into filming the next season. So it would seem absurd that some of these leftover feelings from the reunion would not at some point be addressed. Well, remember, Bronwyn joined the cast last season, season 5. She was introduced as Lisa's friend, but you could tell that there was some tension early on. Now, Bronwyn has said that there was on-air drama before the cameras even captured some of the conflict. And if you remember last season, there was a trip to Palm Springs where Bronwyn felt ignored. She felt like Lisa ghosted her, didn't respond to texts before the trip, and then showed up with alliances and conversations that excluded or seemingly undermined Bronwyn. That's enough to make you a little bit crazy if you feel like you know one person on the show. That's not to say that I don't think Bronwyn has watched previous seasons of the show and studied it like she would prepare herself for a master's thesis. However, I do think that when you start filming a show, as much as you have studied it, it's a whole other ballgame to actually film it. So I do think she thought, well, at least I have Lisa. And I do think that women who are in certain social structures feel like certain people would have their alliance based on a similar lifestyle or income bracket. So I think that threw Bronwyn for a loop. Over time, Bronwyn's criticisms have become more public and pointed. There's been leaked texts. She's called out lawsuits, as you will begin to hear in this episode. Not only just me going through what Bronwyn has said, but also if you watch the second episode of the season, she becomes more vocal, questioning Lisa's not only her actions in group settings, but also whether or not she's being completely transparent about her businesses and her legal issues. So, in other words, she's taking the boxing gloves off. So, what I think is going to transpire this season is the smackdown that Lisa will try to do on Bronwyn in retaliation. And that truly is at the heart of this show, because you can't imagine people who are actually really good friends would concoct retaliation plans, not just while you're filming, but well after it. You know what I mean? So during a cast moment in the first episode, Bronwyn suggests that it's suspicious timing that Lisa has not showed up for a trip. and says something along the lines of, well, maybe she's too busy reading about herself in the press, along with all of her lawsuits. And then you hear about Lisa perhaps having multiple lawsuits. Then you cut to Lisa in a scene with her husband in a car on the way to a party, and she looks unnerved. I feel like her eyes are darting back and forth. You can see her shoulders are rising. And you have to wonder, what the hell is really going on behind the scenes? Then you see Lisa have a lunch with Heather. And when someone becomes quite defensive, they sometimes say stupid shit. And Lisa says something to Heather along the lines of, you guys don't understand my life. I have a totally different life, which is a dig. Like, you don't understand my very busy, complex business issues. Now, remember when they were in the Sprinter van and the SWAT team came and Lisa wanted to keep telling everybody how many lawyers she had? Well, in retrospect, that probably wasn't a wise decision, because one would obviously ask, why do you have so many lawyers? That could be a potential issue. So that's where we are right now, is I think that the first season that Bronwyn joined the show, she felt slighted by Lisa. And I think she is like, I am not going to sit around and let you disparage me. And so I think what we're going to see is the whole retaliation plan. And I don't think it's going to be easy or clean. And it's going to be one to watch. So pay attention to that. Also, we were all kind of collectively wondering how Mary's son was doing after he spoke on camera at the end of last season about addiction issues. And you could see that Mary was really trying as best as she could to listen. And I give her credit for that. She seemed to be open to hearing things that make her feel uncomfortable and upset, but because she wanted to make sure that her son felt heard. So what you see in the second episode is the aftermath, where it still feels very clear that he is very much deep into his struggle. So I think for a lot of people that watch the show, it's going to tug at their heart, because I think she represents the parent that is running through the entire timeline in their head. What could I have done differently? But more importantly, what do I know? What do I do now? So look out for that as well on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And of course, I mentioned to you that Whitney and Justin, her husband, are trying to pick themselves up after a massive financial issue. And I think that's an interesting story to chase too. So the show's coming around. I'm really interested. And I think I'm going to just erase episode 1 from my head. And I'm going to think of this as the first episode. And I think that there are so many complex topics that are going on the show, not just overlapping issues with friendships and relationships, but singular issues with each cast member. And a lot of it is heavy on businesses and finances, which I'm appreciating them discussing more, because you can't have these shows where people have these over-the-top lifestyles and not think at some point someone's going to crack. Because I know the normies that watch this show are running through the numbers in their head. How can people go on so many vacations and spend so much money on luxury labels? And how does that work with the amount of money they're making? The input versus output question, I think, is always keeping people up at night, or at least keeping people with one eye open when they watch this kind of show. So that's the stuff to watch. Okay, now in this episode, Mary, Payne, and I talk about Welcome to Plathville. This is a series on TLC. It follows this really conservative family from rural Georgia, and then they later moved to Florida. But kind of highlighting their cultural clash between the strict, sheltered upbringing that the parents had imposed on 9 of their children, and then the children's desires for independence, modern experiences, and freedom. So explores themes of family conflict, but also religion and rebellion, relationships, and personal growth. She's crazy about this show. I needed to take a beat. You watch some of these shows and they get a little bit depressing. That's how I had been feeling. So in this episode, she brings me up to speed. Now, if you've never watched the show, you need to know at least this. The parents are Kim and Barry. Kim, the matriarch, was once known for being really strict, particularly about limiting her children's access to technology, also to sugar, mainstream culture, and secular music. And then over time, her marriage struggles and her own personal evolution have become central storylines. And then in later seasons, she and Barry separate. Now, Barry, who looks like either a serial killer or a lizard, is quieter, but he's also aligned with her conservative values. And he's often been portrayed as more reserved and less openly confrontational, although still trying to uphold the family's strict rules. And his storyline has shifted as he adjusts to the family breaking apart and changing dynamics. And then you have Ethan, he's the oldest. He had been married to Olivia, and he's at the center of conflict between his ex, Olivia, and his parents because of differences in values and strict family boundaries. So Ethan is trying to reconcile with his family and also hold true to his desire for independence. Olivia's like, I'm out. You guys are all crazy. Now, there's an older sister. She does not appear on the show. She's got a quieter life. She's married. She lives away from the spotlight. She plays music with her husband. And then you've got Micah, who is super cute. He pursued modeling and acting after leaving the family home. So he's always focused on independence and self-discovery, as is Mariah. She's the daughter known for the rebellious streak. And then you've got Lydia. She's the obedient daughter. She's remained closer to her parents and to her faith. She's often mediating between the siblings and the parents. She's a devout Christian. And there are questions from her brothers about her new marriage to her husband. And then you have a couple other siblings, but they're kind of like in the background. So that is the story over on Welcome to Plathville. And we get very deep into it into this episode. So make sure you're watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and then check out Welcome to Plathville on TLC. Here's my interview with Mary Payne. Mary Payne, what is going on at Welcome to Plathville? I haven't watched it except for the clips that you put up. I feel like I need to take a mental break because it felt to me like it's a group of people that are stuck in time and they'll never evolve. And I didn't feel like I had the emotional wherewithal for the moment.
Listen, you're missing out. I continually say this is one of the best shows on television. And people might not agree with me, and I don't care. I think that it's such an interesting study in narcissism. It's an interesting study in what can go terribly wrong when you homeschool your kids, but then don't homeschool your kids. You know, none of these kids had social security numbers or some record of birth when they started the show because they just like had them at home and didn't claim them. And
really?
Yeah, really.
Like no record of their birth at all.
No, and like these two, the parents, Kim and Barry, are both highly educated people, but they chose to not educate their children. And a lot of what has been wrought is because of that, in my opinion. They wanted total control. They wanted all these kids to just be on the farm and only have each other. And guess what? That's what's happened because even as they're older and go away, except for the oldest one, Hosanna, they come back because at the end of the day, if they have any sort of spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend that questions the weirdness of the situation, eventually that person is the cause of something in the family and they have to go. It doesn't matter if you're married or it's just a girlfriend or what. Now, what we have going on the show right now is Veronica has come in as Micah's girlfriend. Now, Veronica hit Micah up on the DMs because he's hot, you know. They became friends. He was in LA. He didn't have any money. And he was like, okay, I guess I'll just move to Boca and live with this girl because she'll pay for everything.
I hate the fact that he's so attractive because it often takes away from the fact that he is, as my mother would put it, criminally stupid.
You know, at least I feel like with him, he went to LA and he got a little bit of culture outside of the Tallahassee, Georgia area. You know, he went out of Florida and Georgia, and he even went as far as Miami at one point. But he lived in LA and had friends of different cultures, friends that were gay, friends that were bi, friends that, you know, he had the one friend that was Indian. So he learned about other cultures, and that was good for him because he learned like, oh, wow, in the Indian culture, you know, the kids live with the parents until they're married. And he learned things about other people's family dynamics. And they taught him things like Star Wars.
But did he learn that he was not the center of the universe? And that is the most important life lesson that one should get when they move beyond the boundaries of their own origin.
None of these children have ever thought they're the center of the universe because the center of the universe is Kim, the mother.
Yeah, that's a problem.
and so, you know, what happened was Kim decided, and then I'll put this in the words of Lydia, what Lydia said she went on one of the Duggar girls, Ginger podcast.
Oh boy.
Ginger and her husband have a podcast. So Lydia and her new husband, Zach, went on it. And some of the language she used around her mother was interesting because Lydia was the favorite. You know, she was the Cinderella, you know, get in the kitchen, do everything. She raised the younger children. She cleaned. She did everything. And Lydia said, my mother left the family when I was 17. Now, that's interesting wording that she used there.
That's the wording of someone who's brainwashed by their own parent.
Well, you could really, really tell that Lydia is no longer close to her mother because she, you know, doesn't approve, that the mom not only left the family, but then started wearing skirts and getting drunk and getting a DUI and, you know, getting a real hot girl summer all the time. And by the way, good for Kim. She decided she didn't want to be in this marriage and she left and whatever. But the fact that she had drilled it into her children, drinking is bad, sugar is bad. She wouldn't allow Olivia and Ethan to be around the children if they at age 22 wanted to have a beer at dinner. Like, said you're no longer allowed to see your siblings. That's it. Don't come to the farm because they wanted to have a legal beer at dinner. Now, Kim's out there getting a DUI. She's living with this boyfriend who we call KK Ken. For obvious reasons. And, you know, just check him out on Facebook and you'll see why. And she goes and moves in with this guy. And then everything's supposed to be like, yeah, but all these things I said to you growing up, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine now that I've decided to drink and live with my boyfriend and have premarital sex, I'll buy the teenagers beer. Now I'm cool, Mom. Right? So what effect does that have on not only on the older children who were raised this way and told all these strict things, but then what does it have on the younger children that like, oh, up until age 11, all of this was sinful, but now because Mom changed her mind at age 12, now it's fine.
This show is sponsored by Liquid IV. Like you, I'm having a tough time adjusting from endless summer to back to reality energy needed for the fall. I feel like I've moved from easy breezy to buckle up the jetpack. So how do I switch gears and level up my energy without burning out? Well, it's Liquid IV. Not only do I feel a boost of hydration with Liquid IV, but so do my kids. They keep the drink packs in their sports bags. And it's so easy and convenient, they just tear, pour, and enjoy. And so will you. Powered by Live Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. Scientifically formulated to support physical energy, hydration, focus, mood, and social stamina. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. My favorite flavor is sugar-free energy blackberry lemonade, and I know you're going to love it too. So ditch the glitch with 0 sugar and 0 crash from Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code Kate Casey at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code Kate Casey at liquidiv.com. The weather's cooling down and the days are getting shorter, which makes me want to make my space even cozier. And Wayfair is the place to go. And I'm going to tell you the greatest purchase we made from Wayfair, a trampoline for our backyard. Hayes is doing back handsprings at every chance, and the kids can burn off energy before tackling homework. As my trusted destination for all things home, Wayfair's got everything that you need to cozify your space this fall, from comfy chairs to warm bedding and autumn decor. And don't you think that your living room needs updated pillows and throw blankets? And what about some new furniture so you can invite the new neighbors over for a dinner party? And for those of you who work at home, you probably need some new lighting or maybe a new rug. My recommendation, a gorgeous framed photo for the wall. There's something for every style and every home, no matter your space or budget. Wayfair makes it easy to tackle your home goals with room ideas and curated collections. And it's free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff. No more huge delivery fees for furniture. And no need to shop at multiple stores. Furniture, decor, appliances, cookware, all in one place. So cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collection of easy, affordable fall updates. From comfy recliners to cozy bedding and autumn decor, find it all for way less at Wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. But it sounds like she's still brainwashing them where they feel like they're still tethered to her because they're making excuses for her still.
They make excuses for her, and everything is about the family, even though the family is no longer together. And it's very, very interesting in my conversations with Olivia.
Sounds like a cult, quite honestly.
It's a tiny, tiny cult. It's a tiny cult. But in my conversations with Olivia that I've had, in person, I've had off mic and then on mic, she always is consistent in the same thing. It is, once they decide something is okay, it's okay for everyone. And it's hard for these kids because it is your mother to see the hypocrisy in it. And even if the older kids see it, they go away from it, but they always come back because, and Olivia's had the same thing in her family of origin, which is sometimes the kids do go away and learn, but then they eventually will come back. It's like a rumspringa, right? They come back because it's what they know. And it's easier to go back to what you know than to learn and grow. And it'd be like, it's easier for me to stay here in Virginia than just move to Bulgaria and learn a new language.
I also think that people they conceptualize the holidays all the time in their head. Like if I leave that family, I will have nowhere to go back home for the holidays. That's the whole thing with like the Amish community too. It's like if you leave and you're cut off, like you can't go back. And it's like, well, where do I go? I don't have any other family. I don't have any support system. So it's like the holiday is sort of like the metaphor.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right. It is, who will I turn to? In Olivia's family specifically, she had a brother that left the fold, briefly dated Lydia Plath, oddly enough, lived with her and Ethan in Tallahassee. Somewhere along the line, he got a DUI, something, and then he went back to Olivia's original family in Virginia eventually. She had a brother that passed away under his parents' care. The brother had been taken from the parents more than once by like CPS, and then he passed away in the parents' care. She's like, these are not children that are being cared for by their parents. They're being cared for by each other. And the oldest one may be 8,
Oh,
it's like,
no.
It's rough. It's rough. It is so good, especially as you watch if you start just from season 1, guys, and you watch the evolution. I'll just give you like Ethan as an example, and you've interviewed them and you've met them. The evolution of Ethan and how far he came in like, hey, I'm going to be a real boy in the real world.
That's when I interviewed him, where I thought he was at the cusp of it. And I felt like I'm his older sister friend saying, you can do it, you can do it. And then he just circles back.
He circled back and everything is blamed on Olivia, which...
Well, of course, because she's a woman. And
she's a woman.
Kim has demonized any woman that gets in her son's lives.
Yeah, and currently, although I do think they're broken up in real time, people say they aren't, but my understanding is they are, is that Ethan has his new girlfriend, Tegan, and Veronica, Micah's girlfriend, comes in and just sort of creates a rumor that she saw off of Reddit with no proof, saying Tegan has an OnlyFans. Now, what do you think 3 years ago, if somebody would have said, Olivia has an OnlyFans, no proof, no nothing, somebody just said it, well, they would have been even more shunned than they were. And, called out on social media and everything else. But Kim says, do you have an OnlyFans? And Tegan goes, no. And she goes, oh, God, maybe I should get one. But like just for feet.
I was just going to say it. I'm sure she's got one. Yeah, absolutely.
She goes, maybe I should get one for feet because like Barry won't give me any child support. Like, ha, ha, ha. It's like, so it's okay now.
What's the deal with Kim, though? I've long thought maybe this is a woman who had significant trauma and she's just like the wiring is all off in her head. Or do you think she was born a monster?
I think both are true. I think the wiring is off in her head because she was raised, with an alcoholic mother and she had a bad upbringing, so do a lot of people. But the level of hypocrisy and narcissism with this woman is off the chain. And I know you interviewed her and we all told you, Kate.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I forgot about that.
I didn't. I've never forgotten. Don't do it, Kate. Don't do it.
That's
and you're
right.
like, I feel. You said,
yes,
feel like I can get to her.
I did say that. What? I was criminally stupid, as my mother would say.
You were criminally stupid in that moment. We said it's never going to happen, and it didn't. And she hardly gave you any answers. And she doesn't do any interviews on purpose because she doesn't want anybody to ask her any hard questions.
You know who else is like that? Janelle from Sister Wives. I had the same experience.
Janelle, I'm picturing which one she is. No, so I don't follow Sister Wives, but why was she like that? She just didn't want to talk?
Just like very short answers, complete disinterest in opening up, very just cut off from any emotion. It really just oddballs. But then you're like, well, that's why they're chosen by TLC, because they are odd.
Yeah. Listen, the thing with Kim that Olivia made a great point, and you probably saw the reel that I put out, which is that I had really never thought of it this way.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Which is because I was like, wow, like she kicked Mariah out of the house when she was 16 because she wanted to wear a tank top and go like to the bowling alley with her friends, as a normal 16-year-old would do. Like she was always told she was a horrible person, Mariah. Now, Mariah is a shell of herself now. She sinks into herself as an adult. You know, this has really affected her, obviously. But last season, when Mariah was going through something with a boyfriend and needed a parent, Kim was hugging her and she was there for her. Let Mariah sleep in the bed with me. And Mariah's really suffering. Well, she didn't even talk to her this season. Mariah moved to Colorado. She never even said hello to her. So it's the point is, whatever child is feeding her ego at the time. So this season, we see Ethan and Kim. The whole season opens up with the two of them sitting on lawn chairs in the woods, like backwoods Tony and Carmela Soprano. He's smoking a cigar, and she's like, yeah, so-and-so, this happened with so-and-so, but nothing ever happens with Lydia until now. Like dogging on her own kid. Nothing ever happens with Lydia. She's boring until now. And now she's got a new husband that we can bully. Yay!
Meanwhile, they made her into this very, again, odd child who is socially awkward. And
listen, she's got that new man, she's got that new husband, and I believe in their love. So there.
Well, good for her. My mom also used to say, there's no, like for certain kids, there's just no hope for them because, their parents, when you're like, it's a set of parents that are just like, they're not providing an environment in which they can be loved and supported, and they're told that they're a certain way. Like there's little hope for them to move beyond that and to flourish
because of their parents. Yeah,
yeah. And I always thought about that when I watched that show. Is that like, what hope does someone like Lydia have? They're like brainwashed from the time they're little. And then they don't have...
But Lydia's okay with it. Do you know what I mean? Like she has settled into, this is my role. I want to be a wife. I want to go out and preach. She's been to tons of countries and things, and she does all these things on missions and whatnot. But good, at least she's seeing the world. And for somebody like Lydia, that's her mindset, and she's dedicated to it. I don't think she's ever going to change it.
You don't think she'll ever change it?
I don't. She's not torn. This is what she's been brainwashed by Kim. And when Kim changed, Lydia did not then start wearing skirts and living a hot girl summer. She stuck with what she wanted. She stuck with what she'd been taught. And so that's why I think Lydia will be the happiest of all of them.
So in other words, she's the receptionist in the cult, like just clocking in every day. Totally fine. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? She's happy. And so if she's happy, who are we to say, that wouldn't be the way we would live our lives. But she's happy. She's got a nice husband. They've got jobs. She works at the bank. He's a tennis instructor. They go and do missions.
Is this the guy that they keep asking him if he's gay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, to do that on national television is beyond to me. Like, how could you humiliate someone like that?
Kate, the amount, and this is nothing I asked Olivia about, the amount of talking that they do about each other's sex lives. The parents.
Well, but that to me is the sign
parents too.
Isn't there some sort of assault going on in their home? Like to do that, there's something off there.
Well, Olivia said that she remembers when she was young and she was kind of a late bloomer or whatever, and they were going somewhere and she had on a shirt, and her mother came in and said, "Your father would like you to change shirts, and he also wanted me to check and see if you stuffed your bra because he doesn't remember."
Okay.
So it's all about your body is tempting the man, and you could make the man fall by looking this way. So you need to dress a certain way, act a certain way so that you don't make a man fall just by your appearance. So if your dad or your brother sees your tight shirt, that can make them do something they're not supposed to. It's
how
all
do
very
they talk
strange.
to the boys? Because that's wild that the boys would try to humiliate someone while cameras are there. There's an aggression there that is very upsetting.
Ethan said that he never knew one thing about sex ever until like the night before his wedding. And then they like told him what it was, but he was 20 years old. And
so upsetting.
Other stuff he had figured out, on his own, or I don't know, he's talking to somebody at the mechanic shop in town. But the fact on this show that Barry has talked about Lydia so many times because they chose not to, it's just like, when they kiss, get in there. Is there going to be tongue? That's his daughter.
Yeah, red flag.
You guys are going to start doing other things. Like you're going to go on your honeymoon and there's going to be things happening. Like, and the next thing we know, you're pregnant. Like,
what?
Then on the preview for this coming week, Lydia and Zach are on their honeymoon and they're standing in front of the Louvre. They're in Paris. They're like, we're calling you from the Louvre, Mom and Dad. And Ethan leans into the camera and says to his sister and the husband, you're going to get some croissants. Make sure you're filling those croissants with cream.
Okay, there's stuff going on in this house.
It's gross. It's disgusting.
There's something else going on.
And Kim, the mom, just laughed. Oh, Ethan, he's so gross. He just says, of course, he's going to always bring it to that level. He's so funny. That is your son saying that to your daughter. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. And Barry constantly making jokes. There was a whole segment where he and Kim were on camera together. They were talking about the two of them choosing not to kiss before they got married. He's like, well, they've got lots of things to. He literally made oral sex jokes. He's making banging it out jokes about her being pregnant right away and her biological clock ticking. This is his daughter who chose not to kiss on at all before her wedding day.
Watch the show,
Kate. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to me. It's unbelievable, the arc of what has happened since when we first met them to now. It's incredible.
The WNBA playoffs are in full swing, and Tommy Elter's The Young Man in the Three brings you closer to the game. Get complete WNBA playoff coverage as Tommy sits down with the game's biggest stars and delivers unmatched analysis. The Young Man in the Three's WNBA playoff coverage is presented by Quest Nutrition. From irresistibly crunchy protein chips to rich chocolatey protein bars, these treats make giving in feel so good. Quest, big on protein, low on sugar, huge on flavor. Shop Quest on Amazon at amazon.com/Quest Nutrition. And enjoy all the WNBA action on The Young Man in the Three wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're shopping while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast, then you know and love the thrill of a deal. But are you getting the deal and cash back? Rakuten shoppers do. They get the brands they love, savings, and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Target, Sephora, and even Expedia. Stack sales on top of cash back and feel what it's like to know you're maximizing the savings. It's easy to use, and you get your cash back sent to you through PayPal or check. The idea is simple. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back. Download the free Rakuten app or go to Rakuten.com to start saving today. It's the most rewarding way to shop. That's Rakuten, Rakuten.com.
But does anybody hold them accountable for the way that they are clearly abusing their children?
No. Mm-mm. No. Who would? They don't have any. The other friends they have are people like Olivia's family, well, at the time, that are also in the same IBLP, whatever it's called, cult. That's what they're in, the IBLP.
Wonderful. And they also believe in hitting children, corporal punishment.
I believe that's the blanket training, right? Yeah. Is that IBLP? Is that the same?
Yeah, but remember the IBLP. One of the Duggar daughters was sent to work with Bill, who is the head of the church, air quotes church, and there are many women that have come forward and said that they were the victims of assault.
Is it Gothins? Is it Goggins?
Bill Gothard. Gothard. So here's my worry. Have any of those girls left on those trips to work for the quote unquote church?
I don't think so, because they weren't formally associated with the church, is my understanding. That was just sort of, they followed those tenets.
Never attend any of those conferences, or
they went to the conferences because they wanted to sing on the stage, when only maybe two of them can. Hosanna and Ethan are the only ones, to my knowledge, that could carry a tune. And if I had my soundboard here, I would play you some of Lydia Plath's music, but I don't have my soundboard here, so I won't torture you.
So the whole family is supposed to be like the Von Trapp Partridge family, but only two people can actually sing on tune.
They can all play instruments. You can just look it up. Look up the Plath family band, you guys.
They can play an instrument, but do they understand how to like read music? Or I can play the spoons. You know what I mean?
I can play a tambourine. I guess, I don't know. What happened is that Olivia's family had a family band, and Kim saw that and she wanted to do that. And she asked Olivia to like come to their home, help her set up like a YouTube page, and just tell Kim how they did it. And then Kim copied the entire thing. And that's how she decided Olivia would be a good suitor, a good match for Ethan. And boy, did that bite her in the ass. Yeah.
But I'm assuming Olivia's family, there's probably at least more than two people that can sing a song.
I assume they started it because they have musical talent. Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of fascinating that one could create the image of a traveling family band and actually not have any talent.
Yeah, they can all play an instrument. And Hosanna, as they said on season 1, episode 1, Hosanna got a couple of really good scholarship offers for voice and violin, but we told her she doesn't need that head learning.
Oh, so no way. You don't need to go to school.
She just got married. No. She just got married. Yeah.
So at any point, was this like a Milli Vanilli situation of the South where they were...
God, wouldn't that be amazing?
Lip syncing? I feel like someone could make a book about this.
No, but if you go and just look up the Plath family band, they've got some YouTube videos where they're all sort of looking wistfully into the woods, singing.
Oh, so almost like The Bachelor in the beginning of The Bachelor, where you're looking at a tree.
Keep on the sunny side of life. No, it's like a Dateline episode where somebody's drinking coffee, looking out the window, but they're singing.
Oh my God!
Yeah, yeah. Just look it up, Plath family band. Look it up. Don't download the music. Don't give them your 11 cents from Spotify, please.
I think I've told you that there is a part of me that finds this deeply upsetting too, because if we were to be completely honest, they do look like they could be my cousins.
Oh, you could walk onto that farm and nobody would bat an eye. They would think that you were one of them.
Ethan looks a little bit like my cousin Andrew.
Yeah. Is your cousin Andrew a white supremacist?
No. Thank God.
That's good. That's good.
What's weird, because my mom and my dad are very dark-haired. My dad has brown eyes. My sister has brown eyes. They can both get tans. And then my mom's sister had 2 kids, 2 boys, and we look like we could be triplets. They're very blonde, blue-eyed.
Interesting.
So my sister used to say, by the way, you were adopted. And that's why I really thought I was. It's when I thought Robert Redford could have been my dad.
That's a stretch, maybe, but I think that's great that you thought that. In my family, there's no question. Me and my sisters, we all look alike.
Yes, you do. Yes,
and we look just like my mother as well.
You do.
Yeah.
There's you have never in your life, I don't think, had a Maury Povich situation. However, I definitely had that in the cards. Yes.
I know. And you did your 23andMe. Yeah.
I did. Yeah. Confirmed through a second cousin. My dad is my actually dad, but...
and you wanted it to be a different answer. You wanted it to be Robert Redford.
Or someone else, possibly somebody with a job who is an insane. But if you looked at the entire family, they all, I clearly look like Irish English people, but there is like this little wing of it, and I'm included in it, where we look Scandinavian. And that's what the Plath family reminds me of that.
Well, I said,
do you think I could join the band?
Can you sing?
Sure. I karaoke.
Okay, then you're in. You're in. You said you could play the spoons.
I can play the spoons. I did play the flute when I was a child. I just found it completely boring.
Well, listen, if you've got that background, at the very minimum, they'll put you on a solo. Yeah.
I could like maybe submit a resume or something.
Yeah, maybe they're trying. Listen, last season, they closed last season with the family band getting back together and singing on a rooftop in Florida at a bar where Kim was drunk on margaritas. So,
and I feel like she's the kind of gal that's going to get like a frozen strawberry margarita with like a sugar rim.
Every time.
I'm talking like a full calorie strawberry frozen, like from the machine.
The kind that's as big as your head.
That's it.
Whenever you see her, that's what she's drinking. She's just sloshing those red margaritas around. They're just like slushies with the sugar. Oh, yeah.
And then wearing just like an oversized T-shirt that is, probably from a bar.
That's where you're wrong, because she enjoys a skin tight, little bit past the elbow V-neck with a skirt that she got in a 4-pack from Costco. She enjoys a Costco skirt.
Are the breasts abound?
Yeah, listen, she's a lady of a certain age who drinks a lot and wears a skirt and goes out to bars in Florida. Like, I think I've just described it perfectly.
Does she wear a bra?
She does. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She looked great. She looked great at Lydia's wedding. She had on like a proper mother of the bride dress. And
good.
Yeah, she, oh my God, Kate, on this last episode, the episode that aired this week, they're telling about it was 2 episodes ago, maybe. It was the wedding episode. She's getting ready for the actual wedding. And she's in the mirror and they're filming her talking about the night before when they all tried to confront Zach again to tell him he was gay the night before his own wedding, to say, we would like to talk to you about being gay, Lydia, so you can still get out of this. Like, he's obviously gay the night before the wedding. She's telling the story about her and the boys doing it. She's with it. She's doing it too. She's telling the story, and that eyeliner is just half mooning it under her eyes. And it was fascinating because we've always wondered about that makeup. Like, is it no, she's doing it on purpose. And we got to watch her put it on, and it was a study. It was a get ready with me that we didn't need.
That we didn't need. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
I've convinced you.
I'll give it a go. But you're keeping tabs on this and other shows, and the good people that are listening are looking for more insight into this. So tell them where they can follow you, and tell them about the upcoming series that we have.
Oh, yeah. So Kate and I are doing an upcoming series called Tell Me Everything, because I'll call Kate or she'll call me. Here's the thing about Kate and my husband. My family, they just all the time say, is that Kate Casey? Is that Kate Casey? My son refers to Kate Casey all the time. Did you talk to Kate Casey? Constantly. So I'll pick up the phone and say hello, even though I know it's Kate. I've called hello, and she'll go, so remember what I was telling you? She starts in the middle of a story. She never says, hey, how's it going? How's your day? She starts right in the middle of whatever it is, because she's got a lot of kids, you guys. She's pressed for time. And I'll say, she goes, I have to tell you the story. Do you want to hear it? And I'll say, yes. Or I'll call you and go, let me tell you something. And you'll say, tell me everything.
Yes.
And then we bang that out in like 20 minutes. Goodbye.
Yep.
So we have a new podcast together coming out called Tell Me Everything. And we're just going to tell each other crazy stories. Now, these could be crazy stories that we know that we're going to change some names. Or it could be like a crazy story that you read in Vanity Fair or Airmail that I haven't gotten to yet. And we came up with the idea when I heard you telling the story about the Charlottesville couple. I was like, God, I just want Kate to tell me stories. So I heard that on your Patreon. So it's going to be, Patreon, Apple, wherever you get it. It's going to be on a $10 level. We're going to do it every week when Ingrid gets back and settled from her European vacation. We're going to do it every week. And it'll be once on Kate's, once on mine, once on Kate, once on mine. So we'll go back and forth. And so eventually you'll be able to get all of it on both feeds. But to start, we're going to do it this way to gain some interest. And I've already got my first story. I've already got it written out.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
I had to write it out because I really had to change a lot of names and stuff.
To protect the identity.
I had to write it out. So that's going to be coming up in October. So look for that. And if you want to follow me, and I'm covering right now, I'm going to be covering Love is Blind Denver, Seeking Sister Wife, Love After Lockup, all the 90 Day Fiancé franchise. And of course, we're finishing up with Plathville. And we just did 90 Day UK. We're doing it all over there on Pink Shade. Follow me at Pink Shade Pod on Instagram, please. I'm begging you.
Did you start watching Love is Blind the next season?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've got lots. We're going to, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm up to, we recorded already for episode 1 and 2.
Okay,
and I was watching last night 3 and 4. And some things happen that have never happened before. And it happens twice.
Truly. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, what? You can do that? Yeah.
Wow.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. Well, thank you, my friend.
Love you.
Love you.
The amazing Kate Casey.
I want to thank my great guest, Mary Payne Gilbert. She is the host of Pink Shade. Make sure you go over and subscribe to her podcast as well. Make sure you check out my bonus podcast on Patreon and Apple Podcast. The What to Watch list every week is available at katecasey.substack.com. Join the Facebook group, Reality Life with Kate Casey. And then also make sure that you follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at @KCCA, TikTok, it's Kate Casey, and Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky at Kate Casey.
And now, a next-level moment from AT&T Business. Say you've sent out a gigantic shipment of pillows, and they need to be there in time for International Sleep Day. You've got AT&T 5G, so you're fully confident. But the vendor isn't responding, and International Sleep Day is tomorrow. Luckily, AT&T 5G lets you deal with any issues with ease, so the pillows will get delivered and everyone can sleep soundly, especially you. AT&T 5G requires a compatible plan and device. Coverage not available everywhere. Learn more at att.com/5G network.